Good morning. This video is specifically discussing how to assign value or differentiate between assigning value and priority between owners, your fellow managers, and your staff. And this is important, and it's a hurdle for new managers who getting into the industry, who are coming off from being staff getting promoted. And it's also a hurdle for managers going from maybe they've been in the company for a very long time, maybe they started there and they're now moving forward to another company for the first time, excited about that. Or even seasoned managers who, even myself in the past, um, this is trial and error, learning from my own mistakes, but also witnessing the mistakes of many other of managers along the way. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a corporate executive chef. I've run um, several restaurants. I started off in culinary, went to Johnson Rose University from as early as 1999. I've been in the industry even before that, but that was pre-college. Culinary arts major. I've worked for several major brands. Most of my restaurants are well above 3 million. On the lower side would be 3 million, but over 70% of them have been above $9 million a year restaurants. Um, Privately owned, publicly owned, all over the board, from sous chef, kitchen manager, AKM, chef de cuisine, executive chef, corporate executive chef, director of operations, GM, floor manager, bar manager. I've at one point or another held the hat. And we will get into that later on about the different titles because I've noticed that over the last 10 years or so, some of them have been diluted. And so the understanding of what a AKM versus a sous chef and what a chef de cuisine is versus an executive chef and all that have been muddled. The water's been muddled, and people tend to use titles not really understanding what it means. And they're all very different skill levels and qualifications assigned with each title. You notice a lot of people these days just say I'm an executive chef, and we'll go into that later on in a different video as to what that means. But now back to it. So you're now transitioning into a manager, transitioning into a new establishment, transitioning out of something into another thing. And excuse me. And there's a lot of things you want to get accomplished, things that need to get done. So coming into there, the first thing you want to do is is during your hiring phase or on your onboarding. And onboarding means your training or whatnot. We talked about being a sponge your last, and that still applies. But what tends to happen is that you're hired for a purpose. Your management team has a purpose, a goal that they want to accomplish, and hopefully it's in line with the owners. But it's not always so because it's just like in the military or anything of that kind of structure. Um, the generals and and even the higher level presidents and officers, secretaries, they see things moving that the generals don't see. The generals see things moving that the commanders don't see. The commanders see things moving that the front line doesn't see. So when you're in the restaurant, you're kind of frontline commanders area. When you get to your area manager area and whatnot, you're in the general's area, and then you got owners. So not all establishments have area managers. So a lot of times you deal directly with owners. Understanding what your owners want to accomplish, what is their biggest goal, where do they see the largest area for improvement? That needs to be a focus for you because no matter what your general manager may say or your team is may say, your owners saw an issue, or if someone just left, or you're replacing someone, there was a problem, there was an area of opportunity, and you were brought in to solve something, to be a part of a solution, to be a part of a team towards a solution. So finding out where your owners see the largest areas of opportunity, and making that a priority, and making sure that your owners know that it's a priority to you, that their priorities are a priority to you. That's number one. Number two is not forgetting that your fellow managers have priorities and they don't always match with your owners. So, being that bridge between your owner and the rest of your management team can be very, very beneficial, both for your career, but also interpersonal relationships and developing a reputation for being a bridge builder. Um, and you'll see this a lot of times where separation happens between the goals of your owning team and his team and the goals of the general manager or the operating team. And this causes a lot of discontent and can cause some stumbles. Sometimes the different directions go the same way eventually, but not all the time. So, then getting with your general manager, your chef, if you are in that position of a GM or a chef, um, the other operating manager. So if you're the GM, you want to know what your executive chef is thinking. If you're the executive chef, you want to know what your GM is thinking. If you're below them, you want to know the guys above you are thinking and the ones beside you. Um, Talking with them and getting accurate representation of what they feel. Now, try not to take over the conversation and woo them into how you feel. The first way conversation and the first topic should be what where they see what they feel. And this might take some time. Excuse me, I feel like I got to sneeze. This may take some time and to develop, and it's effort. This gets back to that whole look, feel, touch everything every day. Touch, look, feel everything every day. Which I preach this to all of my new sous chefs and any new managers coming in that I train and how to manage people and businesses. It's not a one-time show. You have to come in and see where everybody's at every single day, and sometimes multiple times a day. So, doing that and writing down these goals, because a lot of things fall through. I'm going to say, I know you probably already know, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you don't have a notebook, a notepad on you on a regular basis, a voice recorder is okay, but it can kind of come off kind of cliche, like you're trying too hard. Um, for upper level management, say general manager and above, a voice recorder is really a good thing. Honestly, executive chef as well. But um, chef de cuisine and below, or AGM and below, a notepad is perfectly fine. And I know corporate directors and VPs and presidents who use notepads. Um, so it's not always easy to pull out a recorder in the middle of a Friday night, Saturday night, and record something with all the noise in the background. So just take out a little notepad, jot down your thought in that moment, your to do in that moment, and put it down. And when you first wake up, address that, and before you go to sleep, look at it for the next day. But so you also have your staff, and knowing where your staff is at, both in your front or back, and what their priorities are, that's important. So when you have these meetings and your employee meetings, your staff meetings, you want to do this about once a month. A lot of times this goes a long time, especially through season. You can go all season long and not have a staff meeting. Um, and a lot of balls will get dropped along the way that you could have solved or at least addressed. Your staff sees a lot of things that you don't see, and there's your eyes or ears. Um, One thing I can tell you is that my recommendation, I've always made this recommendation, is like a chef's council or a GM's council. So chef council and GM council is when you choose, you and your team, your management team, all pick one or two employees that you feel have the most have make the most impact in your restaurant, and you invite them as leaders to represent the staff, kind of like Congress or the Senate, right? And you have a meeting with them, maybe once a month or once every 2 weeks or even weekly. It could be a quick Monday meeting or whatever, and you assign them you assign them tasks, get done. You hear from them. You hear things that are happening, things are falling through the cracks, things need to be fixed. computer issues, micros issues, guests, recurring guest issues, and recurring employee issues. You'll find a lot of things out by having that little council of people. And once they know you're listening to them, you'll get a lot of information with them, which then you can filter and push on to your AM, your GM, your chef, or to your owner. Especially if you see common traits that are attached between your chef, your GM, your staff, or to your staff, to your owner. When you can see that, you can attach the two concepts together. As your GM know this is what your staff is feeling, they're on the same page as you or your owner. It's going to show them that not only are you paying attention to what they need, but you're also seeing how you can win the staff and team over. So I'm going to wrap this up now. There's so many topics rambling in my head all the time. I want to talk about food cost. You're having issues with that. What are some of the ways to solve that? I want to talk about beverage costs. I want to talk about hiring. I want to talk about management. I want to talk about marketing. Yeah, so much talk about that. I want to talk about how do you choose good locations. What are some of the ways that you know you're not choosing a good location? I want to talk about some of the best ROI that I've seen in the industry, and I've seen several owners invest a lot of money in a lot of different things. So I could tell you firsthand what I've seen work and what I've seen is tried and true all the time, and what things have been just a waste of money, or even worse, I've seen negative return on. So, if you have any ideas or any questions, hit me up on here. Leave your questions below. Please like and subscribe. If you guys start doing this, if I can get, I'm gonna say 20 or 30 views on this video, or even on my last one, just like and subscribe. It's gonna help me see that some of you actually are looking for information like this, and I'll be more likely to put more and more stuff up. I have a lot going on. Please visit kndsevents.co. You can look me up online. I'm Diante Reddick, DYANTE REDDICK. You can look me up online. I'm on Belky's Bites and all different things. K and D's is K is in Karen, N is in Nancy, D is in Dog, S is in Sam. Events.co, C-O is the name of the catering company that I volunteer with. And if you have any questions for me personally, again, or if you're going through something specifically in your career and you don't know how to ask, feel free to reach me out here. You can also reach me at I'll give you the tarponbend, TARPONBEND at gmail.com. That's tarponbend, TARPONBEND at gmail.com. That company is no longer around. I opened that email address several years ago when I was the head chef there, just because I didn't have one. And I just kept it, and the company's been gone for a while now, so nothing to worry about that. Just hit me there with specific questions, and I'll get back to you either through here or through internet, through email. Once again, guys, thank you so much. Take care, and this is the restaurant director signing off.